He sure as hell didn't work out like we planned, but that doesn't mean giving up. This world may be broken, but I've got just the tools to fix it.
If there's one thing we know for sure, is that Logan is the absolute best there is at what he does. And the same notion goes to Insomniac Games. But regardless, welcome back true believers and all you merry Marvelites out there to another very intriguing Marvel Games related video, where despite the fact that we have received quite a lot of interesting news lately relating to another Insomniac developed Marvel game which is on the way at some point down the line, with none other than the third and potential final chapter of their Spider-Man franchise, of course pertaining to Marvel's Spider-Man 3, we also know that they're fully heads down developing their next AAA Marvel game with that of Marvel's Wolverine, which unfortunately we still haven't heard or seen any official details about that game ever since it was initially revealed all the way back in September of 2021, which at this rate will end up being almost 4 years ago. However, there are quite a lot of factors that do relate to this game that do thoroughly explain why it's been taking so long for us to see more of it. And that is what we are going to be talking about today. So if you're still beyond excited for the upcoming future of Insomniac's Marvel game with Wolverine, then definitely be sure to thwip that like button and subscribe to the channel for even more Marvel Games videos like this down the line. So to put this entire situation into a much more understandable perspective, is that we do have a recent article from GameRant.com which does break down all the recent happenings related to Marvel's Wolverine, as well as a very brief status update about the game's current development from Insomniac Games themselves, where, as the article states, is that Insomniac Games, the development studio behind Marvel's Spider-Man and Ratchet & Clank, has provided a somewhat disappointing update on the developer's next title, Marvel's Wolverine. The highly anticipated PlayStation 5 game was first revealed all the way back in September of 2021, but very few details on Marvel's Wolverine have been shared since, and it looks like it will remain that way for the time being. While Insomniac Games is known among gamers for being the development team behind the likes of Ratchet & Clank, Spyro, Resistance, and Sunset Overdrive, recent years have seen the studio develop some of the best Spider-Man games since 2004's Spider-Man 2. As Marvel's Spider-Man 2 recently debuted on the PC with the help of Nixie Software, fans are now eager to see more from the studio's next upcoming Marvel property. Unfortunately, some fans appear to be becoming impatient, which has caused Insomniac to provide a somewhat disappointing update for those who won't stop asking about Marvel's Wolverine. And based on a recent Twitter post that Insomniac uploaded, this is what they had to say about the game. "We're actively working on Marvel's Wolverine for PS5. We'll share news about the game when we are ready to share it. That will always be our answer. We can't act on everything requested when things take time, resources, and the green light to share them." After over 3 years of silence, many fans were beginning to wonder if the title was ever going to see the light of day. Although Insomniac has shared nothing on its next big Marvel property since its reveal in 2021, insiders have shared promising updates on Marvel's Wolverine. For example, journalist and industry insider Jeff Grubb touched on the title last year, saying that the studio's track record with superhero games is a promising sign that it will meet player expectations when it does finally launch. Grubb also noted that he believes the studio will show more soon, but these rumors have yet to come to fruition. But the most important factor to thoroughly keep in mind throughout this entire Insomniac Games situation is that it's possible that the massive data breach Insomniac Games suffered back in 2023 has set the studio back in its development timeline, but that remains unverified as of now. The breach sadly saw private employee information leaked online, as well as a roadmap of the studio's future plans. But what also came as massively devastating was an early build of Marvel's Wolverine making its way online. In response to the attack, Insomniac said it was saddened and angered, and that the whole ordeal had been extremely distressing. In regards to Marvel's Marvel's Wolverine, the studio once again told fans that while it appreciates everyone's enthusiasm, official information about the game will be shared when the time is right. And again, ever since this terrible hacking situation occurred back in 2023, this has pretty much been par for the course for Insomniac games. While I have no doubt in my mind that they are working every single one of their butts off to make sure that Marvel's Wolverine, as well as all their other upcoming projects, will be the best games that they possibly can be, I think it's pretty much undeniable at this point that that hacking attack might have affected the development that all these games have had going on. And they might have taken some internal time off to fully resolve this hacking situation before they went back to developing the games that they're all working on. Which still means that at this current point in time, it still is relatively unknown as to when and where that we could see Marvel's Wolverine pop up next. Although, I do have a personal insight as to when and where I believe we could see some official footage of Marvel's Wolverine in action. Going back to Insomniac's original post about Marvel's Wolverine, is that they stated clearly that they're only going to showcase footage of the game when they are ready to share it. But on top of that, they also stated that they're going to take the time and resources to make sure that it will be the best it can possibly be, as well as wait for the green light to share them to the public. And in my opinion, that primarily means that they're going to wait to get the approval from their main publisher of PlayStation to showcase the game at an event that will be worthy of its time and presence. And in this case, I can't think of anything better than a PlayStation showcase, which is exactly where we saw the official gameplay be revealed for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 all the way back in May of 2023. But given everything that we currently know that is happening within the PlayStation pipeline, this year of 2025 alone does look pretty darn packed, considering that we do have two major AAA PS5 exclusive titles dropping later this year, both of which are sequels to two highly beloved franchises, with that of Death Stranding 2 as well as Ghost of Yotei from Sucker Punch Productions. Not to mention that we also have another massive AAA Marvel game releasing later this year of Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, as well as what will arguably be the biggest video game launch of all time supposedly dropping later this year with the one and only Grand Theft Auto 6. So based on all these massive games that are launching within 2025 alone, I personally think that this year is too packed for Insomniac to also drop Marvel's Wolverine, which in my personal opinion means that we could very well see Marvel's Wolverine released sometime next year in 2026. And whether or not Insomniac wants to showcase gameplay footage of the title possibly a year in advance if PlayStation does decide to have another showcase later this year, or potentially save the gameplay reveal for Marvel's Wolverine as the same year that it could release, just like we saw with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 in 2023. Either way, the main point at hand here is that there's no other reason for Insomniac to try and rush out showcasing gameplay for Marvel's Wolverine when they are still thoroughly in development for it. And yes, while it has been frustrating to not receive any major updates about this game in such a long time, we can only hope for the absolute best for Insomniac in the meantime. And I have no doubt in my mind that by the time we actually see some official gameplay of Marvel's Wolverine in the flesh, that it is going to blow all of our Marvel-loving minds away. And I, for one, cannot wait. But with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for all you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. How excited are you still for the upcoming release of Marvel's Wolverine? And based on all the major games that are currently set to release later this year, do you think that there is still a chance that we could see gameplay of Marvel's Wolverine in 2025, or would Insomniac possibly save that for next year in 2026? Let me know what you think. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel games videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, stay merry Marvelites, and until next time, peace out.